Do you ever get the sinking feeling that you never have time for anything anymore? What if I told you that there is a way to mitigate this constant feeling of busyness? If you aren't interested about knowing how to get more things done in a shorter amount of time, then this video may not be for you. However, continue watching if you wish to learn about the most precious resource in your life, something that we all have a finite amount of, called time. The more that you grow up, the more that you realize that time is irreplaceable, and it keeps speeding up, not slowing down. Everything in life that's a material possession is replaceable. You could also always build new relationships, but you can never ever get time back. Once it's gone forever. Most people don't realize the significance of time. People treat it as if it is an endless commodity. A lot of things in life is abundant, but time is one of the only things that keeps getting scarcer and scarcer. No one knows how much time we got on this earth. We all have our own clocks, slowly ticking down. The hourglass of life is slowly shrinking down, one grain at a time. Just take a second to reflect back and calculate how much time you actually do spend on stuff. You have to realize that what matters most is what's happening in this moment right now. Yes, planning and having goals is good, but constantly thinking about the future all of the time takes you away from what is present right in front of you. Never spend a single moment in your life in an unproductive capacity. Your life doesn't consist of days, weeks, months, or years. It consists of moments. And every single moment that you waste, you will never get it back. We don't know how much time that we have, and no one is guaranteed the next few days or even hours. Be careful who you spend your time with during your production time and your pleasure time. Only spend your time and mental energy on people that do care about you and are important in your life. Try to stay away from negative people that cause problems or don't provide any value in your life. Eventually, they will just take up all of your time and mental energy. You can maximize your production time by prioritizing the clients or people that you work with. Not to say that people aren't important, it is better to prioritize the people that help you get 10% of your income versus focusing on people that only give you 1% of your income. Once you have a larger network or client base, then you can be more selective with who you want to work with. Avoid time wasters concerning paperwork. Paperwork is just an umbrella term for any duty that has to do with answering emails, texts, phone calls, filling out forms, paying bills, or signing contracts. This is why it is important to just group all these tasks into one session and get them out of the way. Instead of answering emails and texts every few hours, do them all at once at a certain time of the day. We look at our phones about 52 times a day on average. By setting time aside, you were able to give your 100% attention. This way, you will not waste any extra time to multitask and lose your train of thought. Since we are in a digital generation, we are more inclined to multitask. In general, multitasking does not work. When possible, you should refrain from multitasking as it will improve your workflow. You will be more productive because you will stay focused, thus you will not lose your train of thought and get distracted. Minimizing distractions will allow you to finish projects faster. It can help you stay focused and not let your train of thought crash, thus putting you in a flow state where your creative juices are flowing consistently with your train of thought. You unleash your mind's full potential by getting you in the state where everything that you need to know to complete the next step happens more smoothly than usual. It is your brain working at a faster rate to connect the puzzle pieces more fluidly. As soon as you're looking at the email, text, or whatever it is, ask yourself this question afterwards. Do you have to answer them or respond to the email in any way? Do you have to do this sometime within the next day or next week? Just finish the activity right now or you might forget to do it later. Don't waste extra time just thinking about it. That's the reason why you set aside time to check all the paperwork at once. Do it immediately right there so you don't have to worry about it ever again. Only put off responding to them if you can't respond at that moment and maybe it requires other people. Write it down in your calendar or to-do list. But it is better to complete your part of the project at that second because it will allow you to forget about that project and let you work on other projects. Either do it now or trash it now. Living by this lifestyle will save you so much time. We only have such a finite amount of willpower and mental capacity per day, so it is important that you use your mental energy and time wisely. Not having to overthink about certain tasks allows your brain more mental capacity to be able to handle other various tasks. Some time wasters other than paperwork could be the use of social media, video games, and interaction with negative people. For most of my elementary to high school years, I would come home from school then immediately hop on my console or PC to play some video games. But I wouldn't play just for a couple of minutes. I would play for hours on end. During my college years, I started to realize the impact of how much time had been wasted because I gained no value from them. They never helped me move closer to my big goals or develop any skill sets, but rather helped me kill a lot of my time and trade for my semi-enjoyment. With technology advancing at such a rapid pace, there are so many distractions trying to fight for your time now. Without you realizing it, many of those distractions became daily habits that you just do subconsciously now. Your body is just so comfortable with the habits that it has created over such a long period of time. This is why it is important to understand why some habits can be taking up a lot of your time. If you wish to break bad habits and form beneficial ones, then you have to first understand the process of the habit cycle. The habit cycle could be broken down into this process of a cue, craving, response, and reward. The cue is the trigger that initiates you to think about the habit. It seeks out a reward of money, power, approval, love, relationship, or personal satisfaction. Your mind is constantly looking for any triggers or hints that indicate that you may be close to the reward. The cue could be both tangible and intangible things, either past or present, that triggers your brain to restart the cycle. The craving would be the desire, similarly to how your hunger creeps up on you during a long workday. You don't crave the habit itself, but rather the emotional state that you would be in after you complete the cycle. You're not motivated by the actual task of taking a shower, but rather the feeling of cleanliness after. Without the craving, the cycle would just stop at the trigger because there would be no motivational force for you to act on the routine again. Then there is the response stage. It is when you act on the habit again and satisfy your craving. You take action on the activity depending on how much mental or physical energy it requires. The craving may be strong enough in which your discipline may not be able to stop the response from happening. After you act on the response, then you will enter the reward stage. Your cravings are satisfied by the reward, thus you receive a burst of relief and happiness. The reward gives you a major incentive to want to repeat the activity again in the future. You have just completed the habit cycle. Now that you understand the habit cycle, what's next? You should attempt to find the habits that are time wasters in your life, alongside with the triggers that come with them. Then, every time you experience the trigger of the bad habit, replace that habit with a more beneficial and productive habit. During my college years, I used to have an excessive sleeping problem. After getting my 8 hours of sleep, I would nap for an extra 2 hours sometime during the evening. My cue would be the feeling of tiredness and sleepiness. I would crave the state of feeling awake and energetic. Because of the cue, I would lay down on my bed for a few moments, only to react to the response by falling asleep shortly after. After getting an extra 2 hours of sleep, I'd gain the reward of relief by satisfying my restless state in place for a less tired one. However, the underlying consequence was that I was losing too much time. Sometimes I would actually feel even more tired after I slept. Sleeping was one of my bad habits because it took time away from me and distracted me from my bigger goals. Remember that getting distracted, even for just a moment, would not only throw you off your train of thought, but also be a moment that you will never ever get again. It's important to understand that you may not always be on track every single moment of your life. However, there is a way that you can improve your life by deleting your old bad habits. Every time a trigger happens for the bad habit, replace the response with a habit that is more beneficial to you. For example, I would feel sleepy after I ate something in the evening. I would try to resist laying down, but the tiredness would accentuate my craving to just take another nap. Every time I got triggers to take a nap, I would replace the response of laying on my bed and snoozing off with going to the gym and working out or doing some cardio. Essentially, I still had the triggers that made me want to rest up. I replaced my responses with something that benefits my health while also energizing and satisfying the cues and cravings that I was experiencing. I changed my poor routine to a more beneficial one and still gained more rewards of more energy, confidence, health, strength, and most importantly, a productive use of my time. Stay consistent with it for at least 2 months in order to get in the process of forming a new habit. This will build new healthy habits and routines that will better your life. If you continue to keep building new habits that lead you to more money, better relationships, or better skills, then you will continue unlocking the keys to life. Life is just like an airplane ride to your next destination. It might not be a perfect straight path to where you're going, but as long as you keep moving forward, you will eventually get there. Thank you for watching.